Hello everyone, welcome back to another video, and I saw the new How to Train Your Dragon movie, and now we're gonna talk about it. I'm not gonna talk about spoilers, there isn't that much of spoilers actually, because you know why. Just for the end, I'm gonna talk about some new things that they added, so if you want to know what they added and changed it, I'm gonna talk about that, but just on the end of the video. Just one thing that I'm gonna talk that was removed, not that was changed, was removed. Overall thoughts. Good movie. It still is a good movie. Soundtrack, beautiful as always. They use way more the How to Train Your Dragon theme, the main theme. They use a lot of that. Kind of like GP3, where every like 10 minutes we would hear the Jurassic Park theme again. So same thing here. But overall, it is still a good movie. I mean, the reason why it's a good movie is because the original had a great story, great characters, and here they copied, so it still is a good story and a good characters. For me, it's kind of a guilty pleasure because it is a copy of the original. There's a lot of scenes that are just shot for shot a copy of the original, but I can hate it. I still like it. I still think it's good. It's a good movie. The story does have some little changes, but they are really little changes. There's nothing big that was changed, and there were some things that were added, but none of them really give an impact to the overall story of the movie. But even though they don't impact too much on the story, the new scenes are really fun, and we do have some new scenes that weren't on the movies, but were actually on the shows, and they decided to put on the live action. I like that. That was really cool. There's just one scene that was deleted from the movie that I do think that was a really bad idea to remove that scene, but not gonna talk about that now. I did notice that some scenes, for some reason, they are longer. Like, remember that scene where Hiccup tells Stoic that he found the Dragon Island? And then Stoic says that, oh, you're not my son, then he closes the door, and then we see his face of regret for saying that. We still have that scene, but for some reason, it's way slower. You have Stoic saying that, oh, you're not my son. And then the door slowly closes, and then we see him being like shocked for what he said. So we still have a lot of scenes from the original, but for some reason they are slower down. I don't know why. Now for the characters. Okay, Hiccup and Stoic, they are still really good characters, well acted, so I don't have that much to say about them. But it's not loud. Ooh, they added a good amount of scenes for this character. They even added a little like side plot for him, and I really like that. He gets a lot of more joke scenes that are really good and are actually really funny. Fish Legs, he is the nerd of the group. And they really wanted to show that because remember that scene on the original that he talks about the stats of the dragons? We still have that, but we also have other scenes like that. So I really felt like they were really showing that he was the nerd of the group. And the twins, I thought they were left to the side for a good part of the movie. Because as I said, It's Not Loud has a little plot for him, Fish Legs has a few more scenes, but the twins, they even had a scene removed. Remember during the end, during the fight with the Red Death, where Hiccup says that the twins, they should go and annoy the Red Death just to distract it. And then they even joke with each other who is the most annoying one. That scene, we don't have that scene. Like Hiccup still, I think I don't remember actually if it's Hiccup or Astrid, but whatever. One of those two there tells the twins to distract the Red Death, and then they just go. They don't say anything funny. So they're still good characters, but I don't know. I was expecting a little bit more of them, more funny scenes, but not bad. But then okay, we get to Astrid. She's the only one of the Dragon Riders that actually does a lot of stunts, a lot of moves during the fights. Not just the fights, but like on the training areas with Midlug, Barfenbout, Stormfly. So then I kind of understand the choice of actress, and she acts really well. Astrid, she gets a good amount of new scenes. Plus, for example, she's like a badass on this movie, but all the characters talk about how strong she is, how smart she is, how powerful she is. So I was happy. I was really happy that they were talking that there was a lot of more scenes talking about how cool Astrid is. And for Gobber, yeah, I also don't have that much to say about him, but still a good character, and I like that throughout the movie he used different hands. That's cool. And then as for the characters, there are some characters that appear in the movie, but they don't do that much. They do more things on the show, but here in the movie they do get some new scenes. Okay, dragons. First thing, I knew that Toothless was going to be the cute dragon that is friends with Hiccup, so I was thinking, What about the other dragons? Are they going to have emotions, personality, or are they going to be just animal? And then you have Toothless being, main character. No, they gave emotions for all the dragons and they gave some personalities. Miklek, for example, has a lot of personality. She really feels like a pug, like a dog dragon. And she has a lot of goofy scenes. All the Hook, Fang, and Barfing Belt scenes, you can really see the emotion throughout the eyes and the face. I was really happy about that. And Stormfly, you don't see that much on the face, but you see by the way she acts. Before we get to Turbo Terror, Red Death, Screw, Rumblehorn, Toothless. Of course, Toothless and Hiccup's friendship is still beautiful. Of course, I cried. I cried during, the hand scene. The only problem that I was thinking about Toothless design was, is Toothless going to be scary sometimes, or he's gonna be just cute? And they do make him a bit scary, but doesn't hit the same mark as the first movie. For example, look at him on this shot here. And on the movie, they try, but it doesn't hit the same level. He looks like a bit scary dragon, but not as good as the OG. Yeah, but they also added way more scenes where Toothless is cute. A marketable character, so makes sense. For the Terrible Terror, ooh, that one appeared, but every Terrible Terror scene was super quick. He does appear, you can see the design a bit, but all of the scenes are super quick. For the Red Death, really good design, really like that. The Red Death, I think I prefer this design actually, because it looks infinite times more like scarier and intimidating. And also, I'm not gonna say what it was, but they gave it a new... I was gonna talk about something, but nah, not gonna talk about it. When you see the movie, you're gonna see that there's something there. There's something different that they didn't do before with the Red Death. Now for the Rumblehorn and the Screw, I mentioned on one of my videos that I still needed to see the movie to actually judge the Screw design. No, I didn't, because he's on the background, and the Screw and the Rumblehorn, they're really on the background. They don't have a single shot where they are in the center of the screen that you can actually see them. Nope. They really are just background dragons. And that's the thing, I don't know why they are there. Because, for example, on the Dragon Island, they are on the background, but you have way more monstrous nightmares, Nethers, Grunkles than you have Skrills or Rumblehorns. So like, there's no reason for them to be on the movie. They're just there on the background, and then they don't even stand out between the other dragons. So, and the Skrill also has a problem that the Skrill, he's not thin, he's big and muscular. So if you don't know that the Skrill is on the movie, you're probably gonna think it's just a purple nether. Also, he doesn't shoot lightning at any of the scenes. Also, okay, yeah, Skrill fans, you gonna be sad because remember in the first movie when Stoic asks which dragons are attacking Burke, and then a guy says like, oh, we have some Gronkles, some Nethers, and there's a monstrous nightmare. We still have that, but then the movie is, oh, we have some Gronkles, we have some Skrills, and Nethers, and there's a monstrous nightmare. The Skrill is reduced to just one more regular dragon. And no, during the introduction of Hiccup that he talks about the dragons that attack Burke, we have, oh, the Gronkle, the Nether, the Hideous Zipperback, he doesn't mention the Skrill for some reason. And I don't know if the Rumblehorn appears on that scene. That scene was a bit dark, so I don't really know if the Rumblehorn appears that much on the background. That's the problem, he really is just on the background. So yeah, overall thoughts, still a good movie. The first movie for me would be a 10 out of 10. This one will be like a 8 out of 10. CGI really good. The actors, when they are mounting the dragons, they don't look, it still looks good. CGI is good throughout the whole movie. Dragon designs, the Gronkle I don't really like. The Skrill looks too much like an Nether, but you're probably not even gonna notice that much because you're not going to see the Skrill, which is sad. Okay, now I'm gonna just talk about the new scenes and some things that they changed. Okay, since I was just talking about Skrill and Rumblehorn, the only real time that I could actually see the Skrill is right at the end of the movie, where you have Astrid talking to Hiccup, and on her right side you can see a purple dragon. That was the only time that I actually could have a good look at the Skrill. Yeah, there's one more quick scene that you see a Skrill standing on the rocks, but that scene is all gray. if you know what the Skrill looks like, you're gonna notice, but there's a big chance of you not notice. I'm talking a lot about the Skrill because I really like the Skrill. But the Rumble Horn, I think is worse because, oh, he doesn't, well, okay, not that worse because he doesn't appear that much too, but at least the design is still really good. There's a new really good scene with the Red Death where Red Death bites Stormfly's tail, then Astrid jumps on the mouth of the Red Death and starts to use the axe on the teeth, and she just starts to break a bunch of the teeth of the Red Death. That was really cool. Okay, about Snotcloud's new little plotline is, do you remember the few episodes that we have? We have a little bit of that on Defenders of Berk, but more on Race to the Edge, where he wanted to make his dad proud. Remember, there were like 3-4 episodes about that. We get that on the movie. I thought that was really cool. Actually, Spike Cloud speaks on the movie because he is on all the 3 movies, but he doesn't say a single word. Also, Goofy here, she appears more on the movie, but this time she actually gets a knowledge. Like, we have a scene where Stoic asks if she thinks they're going to find the dragon nest, for example. So that was good, that was good. I saw some people saying that on this new movie they added a new important character, but we don't see that much. It's like a old lady, like, guys, she's not new. You just didn't notice her. You just watched the movies, you didn't watch the show. Yeah, Valka is also mentioned a lot. I was really surprised about how many times Valka was mentioned during the movie. Yeah, the scene that I didn't like that they removed from the movie. Remember the scene where Hiccup befriends the Terrible Terror and then he learns that dragons are not fireproof inside? That's not on the movie. So then you may ask, okay, how does he defeat the Red Death? The same way. By shooting the Plasma Blast inside the Red Death, because they're not fireproof inside, but you don't learn this on the movie. So if you didn't see the first movie, you're just gonna think, oh, I guess Toothless is strong, or whatever, I don't know. So I think they should have added that scene. I don't know why you would remove it. Plus, you give screen time to the Terrible Terror, and you also see that not just Toothless can be a bad dragon. But I still like the movie. As I said, of course, it's not as good as the original, like 8 out of 10, so yeah, it's still a fun movie. Thank you guys for watching. If you have other questions about the movie, ask me on the comments and I will respond to it. Well, thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you on the next video. Goodbye!